one thing that is different is that other ladies come with a little bit more usefulness, so it kind of makes up for their bratty personality. They come with more usefulness, like they're not afraid to work hard for the family. They come with skills. They know how to do things. They know how to care for the man and do all those things. So they kind of have a right to demand more things because they also are providing more value to the men.
Are they making excuses to go overseas? Okay, yeah, there are excuses made, but because there's a problem, I don't think the problem is being solved by going over there. At least I don't see it being solved. I do know there's a difference that they expect whenever they go overseas to those women, and there's a difference that the women they encounter expect out of them. And the difference is, from my understanding, is they expect the women to behave a specific way that they would prefer the women in the United States to behave. I think that's probably number one. Uh, Now, for the women over there, I think the expectation for the guys coming inbound is that their resources are stable. I have seen videos and content about that not necessarily being the case. A lot of guys are fronting and not really going over there with stable resources. But the problem, like I said, it doesn't solve the problem. There's plenty of women over here to work it out. The problem isn't the location. The problem is the actual person that's out here vetting and dating. So it doesn't solve the problem that they complain about. Uh, Otherwise, it would be a high rate of marriage coming back over here, or men staying over there. And from what I'm witnessing, that's not the case. Men are going over there to indulge, which, you know, it speaks to the point that I've been making about the initial problem that that's causing the issue in the first place. They're going over there to indulge. It's easier to indulge over there. You got less restraint, less pushback, less criticism. You can be discreet about it. The laws are different. You absolve yourself completely when you go over there and behave like that. Uh, the women over here, they tend to put the guys in check over here, and they just don't stand for it here. So you got to go to a playground where you can kind of have your way. So from what I'm understanding, that's what's going on. Because I don't see marriages and families being built in that type of, movement or whatever. But I might have to take a deeper dive, or it may be a different side of passport bros. But from what I'm seeing, that's not what I see. And if the problem is they can't have their way, and then they're going over there, and obviously, yeah, they're solving the problem. They can go out and trash women out that don't matter. I mean, don't know no better. And I'll yield on that.
So I believe that there is a segment of passport boys that probably don't even call themselves passport boys. It's men that actually do go over there and look for wives, right? I don't think that that's the majority, but I could be wrong because I'm not that, you know what I'm saying, acclimated with the passport bro scene. But I have watched several videos. I just seen one last week. What's it? Is it Phuket? Phuket? Am I saying the right, Trev? Phuket? Phuket? You know that in Thailand? Or Phuket? You heard of that before? Phuket? Okay, well, whatever.
No, I
So
bet.
the video I watched, there was two dudes talking about they experience, and they utilizing like a playground from the video I was watching, right? And one of the guys was mad at the other guy because he was saying he spent 1,500 baht as opposed to the other guy having to pay 3,000 baht for they services, they night services or whatever, right? And a lot of those men are just going and getting it in, and they making a dollar stretch and being able to live the life they wanted to live. What's that case? Being able to live the life they wanted to live in America, and either their money wasn't long enough for it, or their social capital with the women here wasn't long enough for it. So they experiencing that, and that's not to negate that there are men going over there building businesses and getting married and all that other stuff. But the vocal video people that's putting it on blast seem to be just going for tourism to have fun. When it comes to American black women, I think it's perfect. It's great women and it's terrible women. You know what I'm saying? It's a run a gambit. The real thing is, what is you bargaining with? What do you have to bring to the table? Because I see a lot of great women when I, you know what I'm saying, be out and about. And I don't think it would be an issue finding a wife out of the women that I be meeting in different places when I used to go out. Um, when I just was out on my LB thing, there were single women there. They seemed perfect fine. I didn't get to know them that well, but I kind of got a feeling for them. And since they were in that vicinity and that circle, they kind of had a, a pre-vetting, if you would, for certain things just being there, right? But everybody wouldn't be in that vicinity. So it really just depends on what you got of value. But he was talking about all the women he got and just being treated a different way. And I think, you know, that might just have everything to do with how he working his number. So I'm not gonna put that on American Black women. I'll put that on individual. I ain't gonna always.
All right. Ameera, what are your thoughts about it?
I'm happy. I'm so happy you have this topic because I think I think that you guys aren't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but if you do, I'm happy that you do. But I believe, I see, I know, I don't just believe, I see, I know that this is a false equivalency for men, American men going to other countries and saying that the women don't care about the money as much as American women. No, there's a difference. American women are alone, so they have to vouch for themselves because they are going into the dating market by themselves. So when they are demanding monies, it's because they're trying to look out for their best interests, but it makes them look bad and it makes it stressful for the relationship. In other cultures, it is ingrained in the culture. The money is going to come along because the family is advocating for the girl. So you don't have to have the woman saying, I want bags, I want money, I want this, because the family is going to demand that you have money to take care of her. So when you have American women advocating for themselves and having to tell the man outright, I need this, I need that. Yeah, it can come off bratty, but at the end, I hate that saying at the end of the day, but at the end of the year, at the end of the 24-hour cycle, that is what's happening. The women are having to advocate for themselves. But the problem is that I see is that American women claim to be independent and claim to say that they don't need no man. But then when they find a man, they're like, oh, you got to take care of everything. Oh, but you take care of everything, but I have my own money, so you can't control me. I don't really understand the mentality when it comes to relationships in American women. But I mean, Asian women are some of the biggest gold diggers you ever see. They're the ones who came up with the saying, no money, no honey. What you think that come from? They are the biggest gold diggers you'll ever know. And to say the guy, I don't know who the gentleman is, but he said he go to the Philippines, I think it was, and he said, oh, they don't care about the money. They're not telling you that they care about the money, but they care about the money. And they're looking for the money. And because he's American, that's why they hang out with him, because of the money. But he's under this illusion that because they're sweet or they're kinder than American ladies, that they don't care, but they really do. The other thing I was thinking about was the culture. So because of cultural standards, other ladies of women, the other races of women don't have to outwardly say the things that they need from the men all the time, but they're just as bratty. I mean, you think Arab women don't bug their husbands for a bigger house, a nicer car, more clothes, more shoes? They do the same thing. They do. You just don't see it. And you just don't see it. But one thing that is different is that other ladies come with a little bit more usefulness. So it kind of makes up for their bratty personality. They come with more usefulness. Like, they're not afraid to work hard for the family. They come with skills. They know how to do things. They know how to care for the man and do all those things. So they kind of have a right to demand more things because they also are providing more value to the men. Because I've noticed that a lot of American women or Western ladies, they don't they haven't been trained to be wives. And I know women hate when I say trained, but it is something that starts young. I mean, I didn't know I was being trained when I was being trained. But now looking back on my childhood, now I know I was being trained. I just didn't know at the time. But that training, it takes, anyway, but I see that a lot of Western ladies are not trained. So they want the world, but they don't provide value to the man. And on the other hand, the other ladies, they still want the world too, but at least they provide some value.